Put, I believe we have one person would like to speak tonight. David, come on up to the microphone and would you tell us where you live, please?
Okay, my name is David Graff. I'm the president of a not-for-profit called Niagara Post Theater Incorporated.
Just raise that microphone up a little bit. There you go. Thanks.
Okay.
David. I appreciate it.
I'm the president of a not-for-profit, Niagara Post Theater Incorporated, and we're renovating the old movie theater down at Fort Niagara into a performing arts center to support children's theater, and we're going for Greenway funding. And since it's in a very strange location, we're going for community money on a county basis. So what I'm asking for is a resolution from the town of Wheatfield saying that what we're doing is compliant and the intention of the Greenway Commission. So basically, they want us in something like this to have resolutions from all the municipalities saying that this fits within the criteria of Greenway. Okay?
And not that I'm questioning you, but if you have something in writing that I can look over?
Yeah, I'll give you all of this stuff. I
Okay.
sent it to the clerk, and then they sent it to the attorney, and he reviewed it and said something to you, but I just called him, and he said, you have to come in and present it to the board to ask them to do a resolution the next meeting.
Right, and which is next week. So.
Yeah, so this is, it's all different. It's basically 4 copies. Some have maps, and it's a cover letter.
Great, and if you would give that to me, we will look at it tomorrow, and I'll look at it with Matt. And, as you know, I've been supporting the Greenway all the way along, and hope we can work out something for you. Okay. Do I have your phone number on here, Dave? Okay, good. Yeah, anything we can do to enhance the Greenway would be great. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. For the record, all of the board members are present, although Matt is off tonight. He's at a personal matter. Approval of the minutes for February 11th, please.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Bill payment of February 25th, 2019, voucher number 201-90136 to 201-90210 with a total amount of $119,280.34. Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second on the
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I had a question.
Yeah.
We've been going to firemen's installation dinners last 2 Saturdays, and I told them I'd get back to them. They wanted to know when, and I told them probably after tax season, but I didn't know the exact date that we're going to be making payments to the fire company. Do you happen to know?
We have made 2 payments now, but every year we've asked for their budget analysis and where the money went.
Okay.
We've paid 2 out. We're still waiting for the others to come in with their spending amounts.
Okay.
And as soon as we receive that, we give them a check immediately.
Great.
So if they call us and they drop off their spending amounts from last year, then we'll give them the check.
Great. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, I guess we had a motion.
Yep, in a second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Department heads, Paul Siegman.
Not much, just we had that windstorm go through and we actually didn't do too bad. We lost some signs and a couple branches, but I think we've been pretty active in trimming our roadside trees. And I had one on Claimer Road I called a couple guys in for, but besides that, got most of the signs put back up today. If you know of a sign that's down and we haven't fixed it yet, call my office and we'll be out to take care of it. We do have some more trimming to do, but I wasn't sending anybody up in a bucket today, so that's all I got.
And just so you know, one of the reasons why the power was out so long, with the heavy winds, the power company was they were stationed at the Summit Mall, but until that wind would drop down below 40 miles per hour, they couldn't put a bucket truck in the air. And that's why in certain sections of town it was out 10 hours.
Yeah.
They finally, I believe, did reroute the power grid to cover the Adams area. So that's it, Paul?
Yep.
Thank you. Richie Donner, I guess you had an exciting weekend too, huh?
Yeah, we had some fun during the storm. It all started yesterday morning with a lightning strike on Trails End Lane that did some damage to a homeowner's water line. They didn't even realize that lightning had hit until I got over there and went out their front yard and looked around a little bit. And you could see where it hit the tree, blew bark across the street. You could see the lines on the ground where it actually went right over to the water box and then followed it into the house. So they got lucky. I made a phone call to the Sheriff's Dispatch and got National Grid out there so they could check their house before they turned all the breakers back on.
Sure.
But that went well. We had 4 pump stations that went out because of the power outage. 2 of them had backup generators at them, 2 of them did not. So I had to call guys in to go out and set things up. But other than that, we fared out pretty well. Most of the areas that had grinder pumps did still have power, so we didn't have to go out and pump individual grinder tanks out. But made for an interesting morning, and then my phone started going off about 4 o'clock this morning for emergency locates, UFPOs for National Grid, so they could start putting poles back in the ground. So it was a very interesting time for a while. Other than that, we're just doing our day-to-day activities, you know.
All right, Richie, thank you.
Any questions?
And to all the department heads, thank you for your efforts this weekend, everyone. Mike?
Deadline for baseball, softball signups is coming up in the next few weeks. Friday, March 22nd is our deadline for early registrations. After that, there will be a late fee. So far, so good. We're already plus 15 at this point this year than we were last year, so we're heading in the right direction in terms of number of signups. We also did have some wind damage in the park to a dugout, 2 pavilions, our concession stand, and then the major damage we had was on our 3-bay garage right next to our main garage. Contacted Carol with insurance, so that process already started. It happened to us maybe 5 or 6 years ago, sort of the same thing, and put up some metal roofs on the ones that we had damaged, so we'll probably do the same thing because those didn't have any damage this time. Other than that, that's it.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
And also, when you talked to Gail, would you thank her for her hospitality last night at the community center? Showed me how to make coffee. Mike Clark had a little bit of a setback and will not be here tonight. Bridget will also not be here tonight. How about the constable?
Yeah, just like you know, Supervisor and Councilman Doctor, you guys were there 2 weeks ago. We did our annual CPR AED training, so we're all refreshed and certified on that. And we also that morning training officer Thompson trained us on Narcan, to carry Narcan. So now all constables are equipped with Narcan if needed. Besides that, we are still out writing tickets, 31 tickets in February for overnight parking. Besides that, that's all we got going on right now. And if anybody saw you guys all know the desk out there. Yeah. We are now here Monday through Friday. At the town hall.
Brian, I had a question for you. I know that there's certain constables here during the day. If I could have the list of the gentlemen who'll be here, because they had asked if they could have their payroll changed instead of, a shorter period of time.
We'll do. We have a calendar on the desk with all the names on it.
But I'm assuming it was probably going to be the same gents over and over. So if I could have their names, then we'll make a change, okay?
Make sure you get that.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Anybody have anything for him? That's all? Thank you. Senior Leader, Judy Blake. Good evening, Judy.
Well, we don't have anything new as far as the travel. They're in the works because she tries for something every month, but we don't have any paperwork on it yet. Okay. And March 15th, we're having a potluck. Everybody's bringing a dish to pass for, what's in March? St. Patty's Day.
Okay.
Other than that, everything's the same.
What was the date on that, Judy?
Pardon me?
What was the date on that?
March 15th at
15th?
11:30. You're welcome.
Thank
Bring a dish to pass. Come on over.
Okay. Thank you. Wendell, Tim Zuber.
Thank you. We have only one thing on our agenda this evening, and it's our planning board summary from our February meetings. And I'll get right into that. The first meeting was on February 6th, and the first item on that agenda was the site plan for Pelicanos Market. The applicant proposes to relocate their market to a new building at 3328, 3332, and 3338 Niagara Falls Boulevard. A site plan was approved at the September 19th, 2018 Planning Board meeting, but the applicant returned to the board with a revised site plan. The market size is decreased by 1,143 square feet to 7,200 square feet, and the future Phase 2 tenant space reduced from 1,160 square feet, or reduced by 1,160 square feet to 3,600 square feet. As a result of the reduced building square footage, the required parking was reduced, and that also resulted in a reduction of proposed impervious area. The approved retention pond, which was a wet pond, was replaced with additional bioretention and a dry detention pond. The planning board revalidated the previously issued negative declaration under seeker and approved a revised site plan with noted conditions and contingent upon engineering review. The second item was a site plan for a Dado commercial building. The applicant proposes to construct a 12,033 square foot commercial building at 7386 Shawnee Road. That's the northwest corner of Shawnee Road and Captain's Way. The parcel is zoned RC, restricted commercial, and use of the space when it's fitted out must comply with the RC zoning requirements. The planning board issued a negative declaration under seeker and subsequently approved the site plan with, again, noted conditions and contingent upon engineering review. The last item at that meeting was the preliminary plat for the Whitmer Road subdivision. The town proposes to subdivide the 34.73 acre parcel west of Town Hall and fronting on Whitmer Road. 4.13 acres fronting on Whitmer will be divided into 10 single-family residential home lots, and the remaining 30.6 acres will be retained by the town. A 66-foot wide exception for a possible future access road from Whitmer is included in the subdivision layout. The planning board recommended that the preliminary plat proceed to the town board to continue with the approval process. No other action was taken. As you know, the board did seeker at their last meeting and scheduled a public hearing for the March 20th meeting. So that was all for the February 6th meeting. The next meeting was on February 20th, but there were no agenda items for that meeting. The work session was canceled, and the planning board, absent myself, still met on Wednesday night to discuss things that they're working on, such as revised parking requirements. So that's all we have. Any questions?
Anybody have any for Tim? Thank you, Tim.
Okay, you're welcome.
Dave Godfrey, Niagara County Legislator.
Yeah, a couple of things. Yes, good evening. Couple statistics on our windstorm there from our dispatch center. We had a little over 13,000 power outages across the county between NICEAG and National Grid, down less than 1,000 now, out in scattered areas. During the peak, first stuff coming in at 70 miles an hour, between the hours of 1 and 2 o'clock, we had over 190 calls alone in that 1 hour. I didn't look at the end of the day, but it went on all the way to the next morning. So I just got pretty busy, did a good job. Of course, the ice is, as you see on TV, is pushing at us like Erie is high. It's record high right now, causing a lot of that ice is going to come over the west. And as far as we're concerned, in Niagara County, Ontario is high. The 14th of February, Ontario is 2.2 feet, 2 inches higher than its long-term average in February. It's very concerning because it's only February. It could be much lower. It could, under the old plan, they got that water out starting last November. In the first 14 days of February, it rose another 3.5 inches. Where we are right now, as of Friday, is the Lake Ontario is just 11 inches below the flood level in 67 years. So we're looking at flood damage, flooding, here we go again. Little plan 2014. We don't know where the IJC replacements are, is missing. Express itself is supposed to do that. They last year, it didn't happen. We don't even know when that's gonna happen. So let's do the best we can, and as we told before, we do that. Our broadband, good news there. We don't need any state funding. The governor spent all his money at the end of the cycle on HughesNet, which is unreliable, slow, very expensive. It does not cover our county. We found out that even though the governor said they'll finish 100% of New York State, there are areas in our county alone which we cannot even see the satellite. The good news is the USDA has $600 million for rural broadband under the Farm Act. The President also signed the Farm Bill for another $425 million, that's over $1 billion for rural broadband called eConnect, especially in the rural areas. Good news, they also adopted plans that we had done 4 or 5 years ago in identifying where the need really is and how they count the census plots. So the vendors, we have re-engaged our vendor that we had before, one willing to build out, ready to build, wired, wireless, to finish our county, both God and all these counties. It's just a matter of getting the funding. All we need is about $5 million. We've already been in Washington at the end of January. We met with all of them there. The application process is open. It's being processed right now. We're told we're the only ones that are ready to go and high on the list. We've got to keep our fingers crossed that we finally get that funding to put the broadband across the entire county. We started over 4,000 address points that did that broadband. It's really up to around 13,000 to 14,000 across Niagara and over. Hopefully we'll see some movement in that by summer, and maybe start doing it out by fall. Mr. Narcan. Legislator Whittick told me a week or so ago that she has some more funding for Narcan training. She can reach around to the different towns with locations for holders, fire halls, etc. So if you want to hear anything, reach out to Legislator Whittick. We're glad to set those up. The last most important thing. Jeff Blatt, as you may know, is our new Director of Veteran Services, along with Joseph Tremblay, our County Clerk, have deemed Niagara County, as we did last Tuesday, our legislative meeting, Niagara County now is a Purple Heart County. The little signs outside of the courthouse, parking place for our chairman and the legislature representation of Purple Heart recipients on our Purple Heart recipients. Also on August the 7th, Purple Heart Day. What I would invite all of you to do, with your family, your friends, your neighbors, anybody who may have been a Purple Heart recipient, is really get a hold of Jeff Blatt, our Veteran Services, or call the County Clerk's office, or call me. Make sure they get on the list. It's very, very important. As a Vietnam veteran myself, I've seen the carnage and what these men and women have been through, so I'm very proud to say that Niagara County is now honoring the Purple Heart recipient. August 7th.
Thank you. We did discuss the Purple Heart a couple weeks ago, and I do have the applications in my office for anybody that is a Purple Heart recipient, or if they know of someone, they can pick up the application to submit to the county, and they're available right here in the office. So that's a great thing they're doing. I appreciate it, Dave.
That's living and deceased, by the way.
Yes.
There's just a lot that passed away.
I think you need your DD 214 or some order proving that you did have a Purple Heart.
DD 214 usually the first to have them on file. If not, it's very easy to get. Especially with Purple Heart recipients. There's separate place to go to the DOD to get that. It's accepted registered.
Dave, I understand there's going to be a large booklet that's going to be on a permanent display with all the Purple Heart recipients in it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right in Rotunda.
Yeah, it's wonderful. As you know, I received 2 Purple Hearts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions?
We have no motions tonight, and Matt is not here. Board members, Larry, do you want us to come to you last so you can do your... Do you want to go ahead? Okay, Larry.
And 47 customers affected. They're assessing the condition, crew status, and they said assigned. So somebody was assigned to that last night when I did this, for Sunday night, and it's kind of a neat tool that you can do. I know everyone calls the grid if they got a cell phone, but when your power's out, you may not have your landline available anymore. But it's nice to know that you can still get in. You can see this on your cell phone. You can do it on your computer, but you won't be able to if your power's out. But it's still pretty nice. Association of Towns. I'm going to ask Supervisor McSwan. I know he heard some information on our AIM funding, and we want to. It sounded like 91% of the communities were going to lose their AIM funding. It was like millions of dollars. But
I went to a general forum with all the municipalities, and as you know, they proposed to take our AIM funding, which I think is around $55,000 from the town of Wheatfield. And fortunately, they said in the meeting, because of all of the outrage of all the municipalities that submitted to the state, that the governor has been rethinking, and in fact that they are not going to take our AIM funding. I don't know if it's been proven that yet, but that was the stance last week in New York, that in fact they were not going to touch the AIM funding to the municipalities. That was the last word I had, and that was good news.
Another item here, on small cell technology, this is for like 5G wireless, that the cell companies would not be putting up a pole in your district, but then the street lights, they would be affixing these little antennas that can reach out and maybe get 40 or 50 houses on a street off of one telephone pole, and then they just keep connecting them every 400 or 500 feet with more small cells. But there's a small opportunity for towns across New York State, which started on January 14th. I've heard Dr. in his ear a little bit ago, but he's in charge of the comprehensive task force, and then we've got a task force that's in charge of the small cells. We got 90 days, so April 14th is the last day towns in New York State can apply for permit fees that we want to charge these companies, right-of-way compensations, if we want to set distances between, so some people are against them. They think they cause disease or cancer or something, but so the towns have a real small window of time here to get it the way they want it. You can set colors. If you want them all to be pink or whatever you want. If you want distances, nothing can be closer than 250 feet. You can set the distance requirement. If you want different cell companies to do co-location instead of everyone putting their own little wireless, I mean, you'll have T-Mobile, Verizon. You don't want 100 of these things on one telephone pole, so you want to encourage co-location. And Kurt's going to take this back to his committee, and hopefully we'll have something that the town can vote on in the next 60 days, because the time clock is running. We got actually less than 60 days.
Larry, can I just ask Kurt, that's something you've already been working on, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's an active effort, and we actually had something together, but then there were some changes, and we had to go back to the drawing board, but we're interested in putting together a meeting with Verizon. Verizon wanted to talk to us about some things that I think we should do prior to us coming with a recommendation. But yeah, I think we're almost there.
I mean, it would be nice to have this in place by April for fees, colors, etc., because at least we would be able to regulate somewhat what we can do. I guess it's controlled by the FCC.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton that we're going to be able to control, but aesthetic value, I think, of it will be the biggest part that will have some increase over.
And fees too, of course.
Right.
You may want to have, with a short time frame, you may want to have Matt Brooks attend one of these meetings where you guys are close on certain decisions.
Okay, sounds good.
Another session we had in New York was on the census. I'll just throw some numbers out here at you. There's 932 or 933 towns in New York State. only 203 of them are participating in the census. We were one of them. But the town of Wheatfield can gain millions of dollars by doing our due diligence to make sure our residents are counted. There were 63 counties in New York State. Every single one of them signed up, but it looked like maybe fewer than 20% of the townships actually signed up. There was only 2 states in the whole continental United States that signed up to participate, and Luca was 100% participation of the counties. New York was one of them. They didn't tell me who the other was. The Luca process, we started it actually last spring and summer, and we had Don D. and Doris Liedersdorf actually working with myself to make sure that we had all the new construction counted. That part's done. What's coming up next is an appeal process, and we get 45 days. So just to let you guys know, Doris and Don D. are probably going to be back on the payroll for about a month. But we have 45 days to respond to the appeal. And we turned in maybe, just a ballpark, 500 or more changes to the address points that maybe weren't right, or new construction or apartments. So we want to make sure that all of our people are counted. But if they reject anything that we've done, we have an appeal process that we got to jump right on it and get it right. Matt Brooks is, last meeting, he's working on the annexation of that small piece of property in North Tonawanda. I think he's been working with Wendell to make sure that that's squared away. And then we need resident participation in this. We got to make sure that everybody's counted. They said a resident of New York is anyone that lives here 6 months and 1 day. So you may be a snowbird and in Florida for 5 months, and some of these people think that they're residents in Florida, but we need them to count New York State as their home. Because it's very important to make sure those counts are up and we get our numbers. Because the town of Wheatfield, our budget is all paid for, now almost 95%, and maybe off a couple percentage points, but 90% of what we do is paid for by sales tax. And we get one bite of the apple every 10 years. And that's coming up in 2020, April 1st. Thanks for taking, sorry to take up so much of your time, but that's all I have tonight.
Very good, Larry. Thank you. Are you enjoying your gavel, by the way? Okay. Bill Doucette, what do you got?
I have nothing.
Okay. Kurt Doctor.
Yeah, just real quick, we have a new volunteer that's joining our disaster management focus group, and that's Mark Banks. So welcome, Mark. And also we have a task force meeting, which is our monthly meeting where we get all of our volunteers together, and we meet at the community center 6:30 on Thursday. So anybody interested to come out and learn more is welcome to come. That's all.
Thank you, Kurt. Randy.
The Ag Group is meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the community center. And another thing, just talking about that NARCAM, one class I went to in New York City was about training for the NARCAM, and it's amazing that people do this. They said people overdose, or kids or adults, I guess, whoever they do this on purpose just to be brought and have the NARCAM applied to them. It was amazing that the money involved in treatment and how many deaths there are, and that they do this on purpose because they know that one person has overdosed 8 times just to be brought back. It was amazing, but anyhow, it's kind of sad, but I thought of it when I hear you talking about the training. That's all I have.
Thank you. I have just a couple things. One, that we did have a recorded wind gust at Niagara Falls Airport at 74 miles per hour. And Adams Fire Company called Mike Zarbro, our emergency preparedness director, yesterday and asked if we would open up the community center, which we did because there was residents that were without power for over 10 hours. So Mike and I went over to the community center last night and opened it up, made a pot of coffee, and I guess fortunately or unfortunately no one did show, but the town did open it up. We did post it on the news channels that the community center was open to people without heat. And we also did a phone alert for those people that did not have power, so they would get a phone alert that in fact our community center was open for town residents. The other thing, we have a scheduled tentative blood drive June 19th in Niagara County. Becky Whittish called me, and that will be here at the town hall. There's more information coming, but if you're interested, it'll be the 19th of June, right out back at the town hall, and there'll be, the restrooms will be open, and there'll be the blood mobile will be outside. Again, put that, and then rain barrels. I'll have more information in the next week or so, but that will be May 6th through the 12th for the rain barrels and compost pickup here. There'll be a website that you can go and order the rain barrels and the compost barrels. And I will say this is the first time we've had it in Wheatfield. It's always been in Erie County. They're a high-quality rain barrel and a high-quality compost bin. Definitely well made, so keep an eye on that. We'll have something probably within the next 2 weeks as far as actual time and how to sign up. Our next board meeting will be March 4th at 7 o'clock, and we'll have the bid openings for the Cayuga Drive bridge rehabilitation, and that's all I have. Also, I'd like to again, Mike, thank you for the use of the community center. Gail was, she was great. Really appreciate it. Any more public input on anything related tonight? Okay, request a motion, guys. You want to make a motion to adjourn?